What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So today we're talking about my hopes for the Oberon rework. We'll be getting details on the Oberon rework next Friday on the dev stream, which we'll be covering on this channel. But until then, I actually am kind of worried about Oberon. I don't think the rework will be enough, even though we don't even have details on it. Additionally, since Oberon does have a lot of radiation damage tied to his abilities, I thought maybe we should talk about a radiation rework in some way, because that could definitely buff Oberon up. So let's get right into the discussion video today. Also talk about how Oberon's abilities work right now, because that's partially why I'm worried. Alright, so before we get into this stuff though, make sure to sub to this channel. Daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, discussion videos, all that kind of stuff. Your right place for Warframe content. Alright, so first things first, Oberon is being reworked in the next update. That should be in October, and that should be alongside an HP and armor rework as well. As far as what Oberon does in game right now, it's got like a mishmash of a bunch of not great stuff. He's an armor buffer, he's also an HP healer, and he's also got a really bad armor strip and stun for an ultimate. And what else does he have? He's got some radiation procs he can throw on the ground, and I think he's got his first ability, like releases these orbs. Now his first ability can be pretty good with Mag's Bubble, but that's not really what Oberon's meant to be doing. So let's go ahead and take a look at these abilities in depth here in the sim. And we're going to talk about what Pablo has said he's going to be changing with Oberon that's already been announced. Now as far as what's to be the exact details, we'll learn about that soon, but yeah. Pablo did say that Oberon will no longer just be a support / healer. So as far as what Oberon does right now, and why I'm worried, Oberon's current passive, which is being replaced according to Pablo. This will be this passive will no longer be in the game, thankfully. He currently gives allied companions 25% HP, armor, and shield link from Oberon. In addition, your companion also gets an instant revive per mission. This passive is very outdated. This is like basically from before we had bond mods on our dogs and cats, which lets our cats and dogs come back from the dead really fast. Like if I use like a mod like Tenacious Bond even, headshot kills reduce the companion's recovery timer by 3 seconds. And that's like a weaker one, honestly. Some of the other ones, like, I think it's like Momentous Bond, you get like, 30-second recovery timer reduction from 1 Eximus kill. So if the recovery timer is 60 seconds, 2 Eximus kills, the cat's back from the dead. So this mod replaces his passive very easily. And yeah, I mean, a little bit HP armor link is not doing a whole lot when we have these mods that don't really, honestly, they come back from the dead so quick, we don't need this. So, thankfully, Pablo's already replacing this passive, so don't think about that one too much. It was always not a very good passive. His first ability, Smite. Releasing these orbs in an area, they will do percentage health damage. I've also got the augment on here called Smite Infusion to make it where these orbs will, which I can hold the button down to give myself a radiation damage buff. And that's also what I want to talk about today. I find that radiation damage is kind of outdated, especially when they change the enemy's resistances. Before, radiation damage used to be good against some grittier troops, but now that it's been changed, I believe it's only good against like Eidolons and maybe the Murmur. So, yeah, he can give everybody radiation damage, but that's actually a bad thing because radiation procs are not useful. So if I was to actually use this ability to give my teammates and myself 177% increased radiation damage, that is not, when I say increased, I mean it's not like increase the radiation damage you already have. It's separately extra radiation damage. So I have 2 radiation weapons on here to prove a point, but let's say I was looking at here. I have currently a 36% chance to proc electric and a 10% chance to proc radiation. If I cast Smite Infusion, the radiation buff of Oberon, I would be procking basically no electric at all. I'd be procking basically all radiation, and all radiation procs do is it make enemies fight each other. Now, they can do a lot of damage to each other, but it only is really noticeable at like level multiple thousand. So at normal levels, this basically does nothing. Just makes enemies maybe not shoot at you for like a brief moment. I think personally, here's one of my first things I hope that Oberon can get. I think Oberon should become the new Radiation Master in some way. Think of it like Hydroid's rework, Hydroid the Corrosive Pirate King now. Make Oberon the Radiation Fairy King, or whatever his lore is supposed to be. Make it where radiation procs caused by Oberon are better than normal radiation procs. If you don't want to buff every radiation proc in the game, maybe start with that. Only Oberon's rad procs are good. That would make Smite Infusion not a bad thing. It's only really a good thing when enemies are actually weak to radiation. In all the cases, it's a bad thing because, again, rad procs make enemies shoot each other, do more damage to each other, but that's not super useful. Moving on past the first ability. Again, this is good with Mag. You can use Mag's well to pull these orbs. They do percentage health, so if you pull the orbs in with Mag, it's an insta-kill on basically any enemy. So there's a good reason. It's his helmet, so you can use that on Mag pretty easily. Next ability, Hollowed Ground. This is the grass. Throw on some grass. Oberon, with his Righteous Fire, inflicts damage to any enemy in that grass. And it also has a stash chance. So this is... I thought this did more than it does. This ability is really, really bad. So it has to go with range... and damage, range and strength and duration. And so if you have like basically no range like me, here's where your grass goes. That's how much grass you get. I mean, that's like a decent amount of grass. But the thing is, now that I just realized, that grass doesn't really do that much. Now, it does have some synergy with your 4, which I guess is good. But yeah, your enemy's just basically walking in rad procs there. They're not going to really be taking too much damage. They're going to be shooting at each other. But, I mean, spoiler, I'm going to go ahead and unpause these guys after their rad proc. Rad procs don't really save you, so again, I think that this should definitely have some kind of change to it to make rad procs from Oberon special rad procs. So they're shooting at each other. They seem pretty preoccupied, at least. Cool. Like, they eventually will shoot at me, but relatively good AI, manipulation here with that. So now that we're in here, let's go ahead and go over Oberon's tanking. So we've got Oberon's 3rd ability up, and we're already dead. So as you can see, HP and armor, not the strongest when you have big, high-level enemies with machine guns in front of you. There are frames that can survive this. I mean, it's not like it's bad that Oberon can't survive this. These guys are really shooting a lot. But yeah, Oberon's 3rd ability is his tanky ability. It's called Renewal. And what it does is that once you cast it, it will drain energy over time and give you HP and armor. I've got the augment on it right now called Phoenix Renewal, which gives me an extra revive every so often. That also works on your teammates too. So it's pretty good for like normal ETA content, I guess I'd say that. But at the same time, you can survive that stuff with not HP abilities up like this relatively easily with like a frame like, anybody basically. So this ability... Renewal, his healing ability, is basically what most people know Oberon for. You cast his ability, and it heals everybody. It sticks to him, too. Gives an initial heal of 220 with this build. HP per second, 30 per second. Armor, 354 armor. That's what it does. So, an armor HP buff. Literally, Trinity's 4, casting it once is better than this, in my opinion. So, this one needs some serious, serious work. I've got the augment to bring people back from the dead. I think he's got 4 augments. Yeah, he's got Phoenix Renewal, bringing teammates back from the dead for his 3rd. Smite Infusion, giving radiation buffs from his 1. Hollowed Eruption, giving reactivate to detonate all radiation damage with his 2. That's absolutely terrible. That's a really bad augment. That needs to get reworked entirely. And Hollowed Reckoning, his 4th ability, which we'll talk about in a second. So he has 4 augments that all are not really phenomenal. This one's okay, and this one's okay, but yeah, he's gonna need a lot. So yeah, as far as renewal for this one, maybe give it some overguard over time or something like that. This provides no status immunity as far as I'm aware, and this ability, Hollowed Ground, just is actually bad. So yeah, we have a lot of work here. Now as far as his ultimate, save the best for last here. We got the ultimate of Oberon, Reckoning. Now what this one does is if the enemies are on your grass, they will have their armor reduced if you cast this. It is a very, very slow animation. It also apparently blinds them too. No one actually noticed that until just now. So you have a very slow armor strip. Now, with this much power strength, 88% armor strip, I'll throw out a little more power strength so we can actually get that fully removed. But yeah, big thing here is that you need a good amount of strength for a very, very slow armor strip. So let's just throw out Augur Secrets. That should be enough. Okay, 200% power strength for 100% armor strip with a very slow animation. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, again, like I said, guys, this is going to be a frame getting reworked. So just because this looks really bad right now does not mean it will be bad forever. I hope it's going to be better in the future. But yeah, I'm being a little bit worried about this guy. So there's that really long animation, and there's their armor gone. So as you saw right there, it took quite a while to remove armor from these guys. I'm not sure if it even works on overguarded enemies. So we're dealing about 200 damage per tick right now. The enemies have no armor. It's just not looking too good. So let's get some more enemies in here with overguard now. See if it works on overguard. Throw the grass down. Use his 4. Okay, at least it does work on enemies with overguard, but yeah, not exactly the best damage. So now that we've gone over all Oberon's abilities, you can kind of see how all over the place he currently is, and how I hope that things get better. I think that, honestly, if Pablo's going to be trying to make him more than just a support, I think that the idea of making his rad procs unique is a good way to start things off. Make it where enemies affected by rad procs, you know, you could even tie into the new Universal Fallout arcane that is good for some radiation frames. Enemies affected by rad procs have a chance to drop universal orbs per rad proc. This would be pretty strong. I mean, it's an arcane right now, but if you can do this with weapons, so this only works on abilities, you could cause a bunch of rad procs enemies. When they die, they're going to drop orbs nearly guaranteed. That is kind of filling the support role still, which, you know, they want to not be fully support. But that'd be a good start. Maybe the rad procs of Oberon have an actual DOT, just like real life. If you have radiation in real life, you're probably going to have some DOTs on you. So I think that would be good. As far as other things, I do think they're going to make him have some more damage. I think these abilities are going to feel a lot. His 2, that 2 right there was awful, okay? That 2 and that 4 were awful, and the 1's pretty bad as well. I think these will become borderline, like, damage nuke abilities. 200 damage per second on walking on the grass is really bad. That 4th ability animation is horribly slow, and it's a limited range for a little bit of armor strip too. And also, I didn't mention either, it's a lot of energy to do this stuff too. That ulti ability, I think it's it's 100 energy for that ulti. Reminder, there's armor strip abilities in this game that are a lot cheaper than that. And also, enemies' armor is lower nowadays than it was like years ago. So armor strip is less important too. So yeah, I'm pretty worried about the Oberon rework, guys. Let me know how you feel about the idea of this down below. Do you think that Oberon should be like Hydroid, getting his own special unique procs? Unique version of procs. Like Hydroid's procs are special corrosive procs. Are Oberon's procs to be special radiation procs? I guess we'll have to find out. I hope that's what we get. But either way, I don't think that's going to really move the needle too much. I'll probably just throw together like a Nourish build on Oberon, maybe replace his 1 or his 2, because radiation is just bad. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas for radiation reworks as well, let me know in the comments down below. Bara will be here tomorrow. I should be live on stream tonight, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace.